Stage 9 was a very interesting one. 5 guys up the road looking like they were going for the stage win. But Lidl-Trek and Q36.5 had different ideas today. As you can see behind me here, Lidl-Trek really wanted to take control and they threw a lot at it. Before this, we had 3 riders riding on the front with 1 Q36.5 rider, and they were really riding hard for the likes of Giulio Ciccone. If we have a look of when this race exploded, and ultimately it looked good for Ciccone at the start, but this was the point where Jorgensen went up the road with Jonas Vinegaard. They went bananas. This was a proper attack, and you can just see there wasn't many riders which were able to follow it. An acceleration like this, you are sending yourself into the red zone. You are going super hard. But the important part with it, they established a gap and then they settle into their rhythm. When they did get that gap, Jorgensen still on the front, but you can just see behind on this shot, just a little bit after that, you've got Jonas Vinegaard, and the only man on his wheel was Giulio Ciccone. Jorgensen pulled off the front here, and then you've got Ciccone just on Vingegaard's wheel. But look at the gap already, and I think that's Sepp Kuss, Jay Vine, and then you've got Almeida just here. Almeida traditionally doesn't like those big punches and accelerations, so he'll ride himself into this climb. But ultimately, Jay Vine couldn't give as much as what Almeida wanted to. By the time they got going, this gap had already established a little bit more. Almeida was punching on the pedals, and then this happened. Ciccone went into the red zone, as I said, when you make those big accelerations. He lasted for about a K or 2 on Jonas's wheel, but then he exploded. But this was the interesting point for me, as you can just see here on this shot, you can see Almeida just behind, and they hovered around 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. And every time this man starts to look back, you start to think, am I going to crack him? Am I going to crack him? Each look over your shoulder, they might be a little bit closer than the last look. That can really start to play mind games with it. And Jonas even said himself, he was surprised with how far he had to go coming into this final stage. When the gap elastic did eventually break, we got these two sort of playing together. I think Pidcock was absolutely on a limit, couldn't give really too much of a turn. But then it was Almeida that really started to give him a lot of grief. You sat on the wheel, you need to pull more turns, and started to real force him to come through. But I think Pidcock at this point, there was nothing more that he could have done.
He told me to grow some balls. But if he rides a bit slower, I'll give him some more turns.
At the finish, Jonas Vinegaard obviously won the stage, took a considerable amount of time on João Almeida, which was the most crucial thing, but I think he'd have liked to take more. And for Tom Pidcock, the Brit, that's what we're all waiting for, the big performance with the big GC guys, Almeida and Vinegaard. He was right there with them and in the mix. So it's looking very exciting for Tom Pidcock, and it's looking exciting for the rest of this Vuelta with what we've got to come.
And Visma Lease Bike with their bees stinging just before the first rest day. It's a glorious victory in Val d'Escaray for the Danish superstar.